This week, PP Pulse opened their highly awaited Duarte, California charging station northeast of Los Angeles that has canopies and an attached lounge. EVGo added a large amount of money to their war chest. And another Tesla semi station was spotted in permitting by Marco RP. Let's get into it. Before I get started, I just want to point out the news in the DC fast charging industry is coming so fast. There is so much news. This is just 1 week's worth of updates, and I'm just covering what I consider to be the highlights. I could probably blow this episode easily into an hour going into detail. Basically, any one of these things that I'm going to be discussing could become an entire video in and of itself. Plus, there's multiple things that I left off, just trying to not keep the time of this episode to be excessive. And I'm not like searching the crevices of the internet in order to find these stories either. They're just lying around there and being reported by other outlets as well. There's just so much going on. I really think it's noteworthy. First off, I'm here at an EVGo station because EVGo is going to be our leading story. And this particular one is what's known as the Tuckasegee Road EVGo station. It's pretty long-standing, very heavily used. I'd say, just anecdotally, probably 70% of the people who use this station are locals who don't have charging at home. It is close to the interstate, so there is some interstate travelers, and it's also close to what's known as Uptown Charlotte. So I would imagine some people coming out from work stop at this station in order to refuel on their way home or something along those lines, but it is very heavily used. And EVGo is very good at placing stations that are going to be very heavily used. Their business model is for profit, and they operate EV charging stations. Now, a decade ago, that really wasn't practical. Now, they're coming into the point where their operation expenses versus their income is getting to the transition where they're going to be generating profit. And I'll get to that in a second. So they being EVGo, established the largest of its kind domestic EV charging industry commercial loan. Now, this is important. It's not a subsidy coming from the government. It's not a DOE cosign. This is a commercial entity looking at EVGo's books when EVGo is asking for an operational loan and saying, yeah, you can have a loan. And it indicates, in my opinion, confidence in the EV charging business as a profitable business model in the years to come, and also a vote in confidence in EVGo in and of themselves and their leadership. The loan is about $300 million in conjunction with the Department of Energy loan guarantee. They stand poised to more than triple their stall count by 2029, by all accounts. This loan provides for the option of faster draws of credit or slower as the business opportunity presents. So as they're going through this time between now and 2029, if they see quick growth and they want to get more stations in, they could draw more of the $300 million more quickly, or they could forego it and wait until more opportunity starts to present. So it's a little bit of a flexible vehicle. They're now projecting an additional growth curve of their stalls in operation. So stalls in operation, so it's SIO, through 2029, with each year it increasing the number of new stalls. So every year they're going to be adding stalls, but every year they're also going to be adding more stalls every year, if that makes sense. Where by 2029, they're estimating adding somewhere around 4,500 new stalls just in that 1 year alone. So as their business grows, they're going to have more people, and they're going to have a wider pipe in order to add stations. So by 2029, they're saying 4,500 stalls are going to be built and opened. EVGo is a rare animal in the DC fast charging industry. They're one of the few publicly traded companies. Blink is another publicly traded company, and as such, they need to report to investors through commercial controls of publicly traded companies, which gives us in the EV community a great source of information for the EV charging industry as a whole, since the performance of publicly traded companies can somewhat be seen as the direction for the entire industry. Now, of course, the performance of individual companies varies, but some trends can be seen. So let's go over, because EVGo did release their Q2 investor relation information, and it was reported the $1.9 million loss for the quarter being an improvement of the $8 million loss for the second quarter 2023, which was the same time last year, and a $10.5 million loss in the same quarter in 2024, and then $10.5 million in the same quarter in 2023. So $10.5 million loss in 2023, and then an $8 million loss in Q2 2024, and now they've lost $1.9 million in the second quarter of 2025. You might say they're losing money. Why is that a good thing? Because the trend line, they are losing less and less money every year. So this year, it is projected that EVGo is going to transition to be a profitable organization. So, with the path of profitability unfolding, is probably the reason why, when their books were looked at by this commercial entity, they were able to secure this private sector loan. One of the interesting slides in the EVGo Q2 investor relations deck is slide number 5, where they're estimating in 2030 what their environment will look like, not just them in and of themselves, but the entire EV charging industry. And the NREL's 2023 study had some projections, but this is what EVGo is now projecting, and it's a little bit off from NREL. They're saying 18.7 million EVs, vehicles in operation. They say EV blank space VIO, and VIO stands for vehicles in operation. That means in the United States, they're anticipating by 2030 there to be 18.7 million electric vehicles in operation. They're anticipating DC fast charger stalls to be at 137,000. So right now we're about 70,000, so about double. And 136 EVs, vehicles in operation, again, EV, VIO, for every one DC fast charger. So this is kind of principal to their entire business model. What they're saying is that if the trend of growth of DC fast chargers continues and the projected growth of electric vehicles, although it's been adjusted down, still continues, the problem is there's only going to be one DC fast charger stall for every 136 EVs in operation, which is not enough. For instance, here at this station, as I said, this is really heavily used by locals. Probably while I'm filming this, you'll see more people come. I've used this station with some regularity in the past, and there's always people coming and going from this station trying to charge up and go about their business. So that's really paramount to EVGo's business model. It doesn't really matter if more and more spike in growth of EVs happens or not. The point is that there's going to be a base of electric vehicles in operation and not enough DC fast chargers in order to support them. So therefore, as long as they're deliberate in where they place their stations, for instance, like this one, this is very heavily used. Other EVGo stations in the Charlotte area are also very heavily used. There's, I think, 4 EVGo stations in the Charlotte area, and all of them, you're not going to see idle all day. They get used. They will have customers and able to produce income and continue to drive to profitability. In slide 17, they're estimating they're going to have about 14,000 stalls themselves in operation by 2029, with somewhere between 400 million to 550 million in earnings before interest and taxes. And I forgot what DA, I think it's depreciation, amortization, something. Doing almost $1.5 billion in sales during that 1 year alone. So they'll become a billion-dollar company sometime between now and then and be operating for a profit somewhere around $500 million, which again is why they secured that loan. So that's the information from EVGo. All very positive and proving that the electric vehicle charging business model is a viable business model. It's not just something you have to subsidize in order to attract customers out of your marketing budget or something like that. As a standalone business model, EVGo is saying in less than 5 years, they're going to be earning $500 million of profit. Next, Marco RP spotted yet another semi-station at a Frito-Lay building in Rosenberg, Texas, southwest of Houston. It's going to have 8 stalls, but a whopping 960 kilowatts, or just shy of 1 megawatt, solar array attached with stationary storage from Tesla Megapacks. Last week we had a facility in Denver, and now we have a new location spotted by Marco RP outside of Houston. So as we expected, more and more Tesla Semi stations are starting to pop up at Frito-Lay facilities around the country. Electrify America has celebrated 1 year of operations at their San Francisco first ever indoor station at 928 Harrison Street. They're calling it a model for the future of urban charging, hoping many more of those pop up. It's so nice to have indoor charging, something that gas cars can never do. And I think, those pole barns, those kind of like metal buildings would be a great station cover for electric vehicle charging. You could have hoops inside and a playground for the kids and get out of the elements. And those are not too expensive to put up, but I'm spending other people's money here. Speaking of EA, their partner Evolve New York is making good progress with their New York Power Authority station outside of LaGuardia Airport. For those who don't know, there's a LaGuardia station by Evolve New York going in. And it's said to be opening in early fall with 10 stalls. That's a very dense area, but they've carved out a little space for a Electrify America Evolve New York station with 10 stalls. There's also a Revel station going in LaGuardia close by, so that will be very appreciated by the drive share users, owner-operators who are servicing LaGuardia Airport. Next, BP Pulse opened their Duarte, California station northeast of Los Angeles. And when it appeared in the Alternative Fuels Data Center, it was listed as a Gigahub by BP Pulse, which is the first of its kind because so far every BP Pulse Gigahub has been located at airports or adjacent to airports. This BP Pulse Gigahub in Duarte has 24 stalls from 12 tritium PKM split power dispensers. And the location has most of the stalls under very distinctively designed canopies and also an attached facility with vending, restrooms, and a lounge that's climate controlled to relax in. Very beautiful station. Sticking with BP Pulse, Alejandro EV66 spotted permits indicating their plan to support electric trucking in California is preparing to expand. This time with Alpitronic HYC 1000 units. Most of the time BP Pulse has been installing HYC 400s, but these are HYC 1000 units with combination of CCS1 and MCS handles. There's 6 locations, all at BP-owned Travel Centers of America. According to Alejandro, each site will have 6 pull-through stalls with battery storage and solar canopies. So similar to the Tesla Semi with the solar array going into Tesla Megapacks, these electric trucking refueling at Travel Centers of America will have stationary storage and some form of solar canopy, MCS handles, and CCS handles. So the electric trucking game begins with stations popping up at Frito-Lay facilities, and also, according to Alejandro EV66, what was it? 6 locations, each location having 6 pull-through stalls with battery storage and solar canopies at Travel Centers of America in the state of California. Next, the viewer Greg V sent me this photo of Ayana Fruta, Colorado recharger reconstruction progress. It's in the western portion of the state on I-70 just west of Grand Junction. It's adjacent to a Taco Bell and originally was designed to have an attached facility, which they may add in the future, but the canopy is up for the opening, so that's good. Excuse me while I take a sip of coffee. He also sent me these photos from Grand Junction, which is close to this station, of a pilot travel center station soon to open, and a Tesla supercharger station also soon to open at a restaurant called the Ale House at 12th and Patterson, for those familiar with Grand Junction. So a lot is happening in that area of western Colorado on I-70 with the Ayana, the Pilot, and now the Tesla supercharger, all getting ready to open. YouTuber Jim's EV Adventure sent me this photo of a 10-stall EA station under construction in the Orlando area in a town called Lake Mary, confirming EA's commitment to stick with 10 stalls or more from here on out. Just recently they made that announcement, and this station seems to confirm that. Pilot Flying J opened a canopy station in Tucumcari, New Mexico on Interstate 40, leaving the only section of Interstate 40 from coast to coast where an EV road trip needs to use another CPO is in Arkansas. Everywhere else on Interstate 40 coast to coast, Pilot Flying J will have you covered. Literally. Get it? Canopies? They're nearing 200 stations open on the way to their goal to 500 stations by the end of 2027, all conveniently located right off interstate exits at full travel centers, staffed and operational 24/7, 365, making the ability to do EV road trips in style. I know because I did one myself with my wife, basically covering all of that Interstate 40. We stopped at Tucumcari because there was a Electrify America station that filled in the gap, but we had free charging with EVGo during that time with the Cadillac Lyriq, and we're able to charge at those Pilot stations for free, all the way from North Carolina all the way to the Grand Canyon and then back again. We also stopped in Roswell, New Mexico on the way back. But very nice stations. It's nice to have it open 24/7, 365, lit, safe, clean, amenities, most of them under canopies. Only, I think, 2 were not under canopies. It was a really enjoyable trip. The rival Love's Travel Stops is not to be outdone, opened a new station in Sparta, Kentucky, just south of Cincinnati. So truck stops are getting into the electric vehicle charging game and starting to duke it out. We as EV owners win when those companies fight. In Northern California, YouTuber Eric from the News Coulomb channel has spotted both a new BP Pulse 12-stall Alpitronic station at a Petro Travel Center off Interstate 5 in Corning, California, and the first Starbucks Mercedes-Benz high-powered charging Alpitronics are in the ground off Interstate 5 also in Red Bluff, California. So go check out Eric's most recent video to see the progress going on in Northern California. The Tesla Supercharger team opened a really picturesque 16-stall station in Olancha, California on Highway 395 that's surrounded by some of the most stunning natural beauty I've seen. When I pulled this station up, it is so beautiful. It's hard to describe how beautiful this station looks. Just some stunning natural beauty around it. It's adjacent to a full-service Travel Centers of America center and also very close to a California Department of Transportation rest area. So pretty. It's just very beautiful. I'd love to go visit this station someday, and basically I'd love to move into this station. I'd love to live there. It's beautiful. Okay. The Rivian Adventure Network opened their new station in Southampton, New York with 6 stalls. No pictures on Plugshare yet. Francis Energy, though, had a really good end of the week with 3 stations open, all in the state of Wisconsin, which is kind of strange. All of them have 4 stalls. Shell Recharge opened a 4-stall station in Hooksett, New Hampshire that has been hanging out there for a good long while. I kind of had my eye on it, but it's now finally open. It's north of Manchester on Interstate 93 at a Seasons convenience store, relatively brand new. Finally, on a fun note, a toy company, Little Tykes, is now selling a DC fast charger your young one can use to power up their foot-powered EV. A catch line reads, "Kids can plug in and charge their car just like mom and dad." It even has lights and sound when a power button is pressed to start charging. It's called the Cozy E Charging Station and costs right around $30. Thanks for watching.